You are Locked On Warriors Postcast, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Locked On Warriors Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR. And tonight, the Golden State Warriors played their worst game of the season, maybe the worst game I've seen them play since they were destroyed by the Boston Celtics last year, going down by more than 50 at halftime. Tonight, at the hands of the Memphis Grizzlies, the Warriors lose 144-93, trailed by 57 at one point in this game. And worst of all, Steph Curry was held without a field goal in the contest, and the Warriors offense could not find another option despite the recent addition of Dennis Schroder and him making his first appearance in a Warriors uniform tonight. The defense also terrible again tonight as they allow the Grizzlies to hit a franchise record 27 three-pointers. This comes on the heels of the Mavericks completely destroying the Warriors from downtown. Where do we go from here? Was this the worst game of Steph's career? Can this team turn it around? How much more time does Mike Dunleavy need to evaluate this team before pulling the trigger on a trade to get Steph some damn help? We got a lot to break down tonight, but first I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. Please, if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks also for listening on the Locked On Warriors podcast feed, and make sure to check out the Locked On Warriors Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. And you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Just visit FanDuel.com to get started. And as I said, the Warriors tonight, I mean, this is one of, I feel like I woke up in a drunken fever dream. Who the hell is this team? Where the hell am I? What am I watching? This was not basketball. I don't know what the hell I just watched tonight, but that was not basketball. The Warriors could not make a shot at all tonight, just constantly turning the ball over. They were in the 20s for field goal percentage for the majority of the night, hovered around 23-24% until we got into that fourth quarter when they were already down 57 points. And it didn't matter what the hell they did at that point. I mean, we can talk about moral victories for a guy like Brandon Pajemski, who had ended up having 21 points off the bench, and that's nice, but I'm looking at the starters. I'm seeing Draymond Green minus 42 and 0 points. I'm seeing Steph Curry minus 41 and 0 for 7 from the field. I'm seeing Dennis Schroder minus 34, 2 for 12 from the field. I mean, this is... I can't remember the last time that I saw Steph Curry and Draymond Green go minus 41 and minus 42 from the field. This is a problem. This is absolutely abysmal. And it's I think, a much larger issue than just this one game. You could maybe just write this off as the Warriors went to Memphis and the Grizzlies are playing, probably the best basketball of any team in the NBA right now. I think they've won 11 of their last 13, something like that. And they're 13-3 at home after the win tonight. You could say that. But this Warriors team looks so immensely different from what we saw at the beginning of this season, and they are trending in the completely wrong direction. This team looks like it has no sense of what the right lineups to play are. This coaching staff seems to not have any feel for who can play with who right now. And this offense just looks, I don't know, about as smooth as a bearded dragon's skin. This thing is bumpy. It is so terrible. This offense is just, I don't even have words for how bad this thing has been. It has been so clunky, so just ISO ball and passes that don't make sense. And I mean, you don't see any basic fundamentals. You don't see any just driving kicks. You aren't seeing anyone just trying to beat, the matchup, the better matchup that they have. And the Warriors aren't exploiting anything on offense. There's no screens. And I will say the Grizzlies did a very good job at the beginning of this game of completely denying Steph Curry the ball. They treated this first quarter like it was a tie game in the final 2 minutes, and they would not let Steph Curry shoot the ball. I mean, they were Jalen Wells, man, I got to say too, this guy, I have no idea how he lasted as long as he did in the draft, but he looks like a real dude for the Grizzlies. In the way that he started this game, just hounding Steph. I mean, guarding him all the way from half court, all the way up to the basket, and not allowing anything to get going for this Warriors offense, just denying Steph the ball. And the Warriors couldn't figure out what the hell to do with their offense without Steph. They really took him out of the game, and that was a good job in the beginning by the Grizzlies. But you got to figure out a way to get Steph that ball, whether that's inbounding it and letting Steph just go ISO up the court when your offense is looking this bad. You cannot have Steph Curry be this passive. I have never seen Steph this passive when the Warriors were getting absolutely throttled. I mean, he played 24 minutes tonight. It's the first time he's played more than 10 minutes in his career without scoring a shot from the field. He did score 2 points on 2 free throws, but over 7 for Steph Curry is, unheard of. Steph Curry finishing a game that he started and played 24 minutes of with just 2 points. This does not look like the Steph Curry of old. And it begs the question, it begs a lot of questions, but first and foremost, that knee. How serious is that knee injury? Why is Steph so passive in a game like this against a team that, you got to have some fight for the Grizzlies with all the bad blood over the years. And you have to have some fight going into Memphis. And the way that, Steph just didn't try, it seemed like tonight. It seemed like I hate saying this. This feels like blasphemy. I feel like I should never be able to say anything bad about Steph Curry with as many good things as he's done for this franchise. But tonight, it seemed like he just gave up. It seemed like Steph had no interest in trying to score. It seemed like he just passed the buck. And again, this begs the question, is it the knee? Or is he maybe just feeling some of the lasting effects from, that deep run in the Olympics where he was a huge part of Team USA winning that gold medal? What is going on? He was completely non-aggressive and again, seemed just lackadaisical from the field. And then I kind of wonder, this sounds like completely insane to me. Even myself saying it sounds crazy to me. But I can't help myself from thinking, is Steph trying to make a statement to the front office? And I know that it's very unlikely that he's throwing a game or something. I'm not saying that Steph's throwing a game, but I'm saying it's entirely possible that this guy just got so frustrated by being down by so much and watching all these other guys clank up shots over and over and over again that he just said, you figure it out. For tonight, you figure it out. I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to play within myself. And if you guys can't do anything around me, figure it out. And that's, I kind of got that vibe from Steph tonight. Like watching him on the bench, he's still, just having a good time with Schroder and talking and smiling and laughing. And yeah, it is just one game out of 82. And I get that, it's, you have a long season, you're creeping closer towards 500, which is not the way you want to go, just backsliding right now. But you got a lot of season left, a lot of time. It's still December. It's December 19th. We don't need to be so worried about the standings right now. So because of all those things, that makes that thought creep back into my mind. Did Steph just kind of throw his hands up and say, you guys figure it out tonight? And you see what this team is without me, going superhuman, willing this team to victory night after night. And dude's 36. He's got knee problems. He played a whole summer of basketball in the Olympics to bring the USA a gold medal. Get him some help. Like, for the love of God, I know that Mike Dunleavy just went and traded for Dennis Schroder, and this is the first game that we've seen Dennis in a Warriors uniform. I have to imagine it's going to look better than this going forward. Have to. It can't look much worse. Absolutely just abysmal tonight. No fluidity, no chemistry, nothing from this Warriors offense, from anybody. Andrew Wiggins, maybe, if you want to call his 19 points on 6 of 11 from the field. He was 4 or 5 from 3, so that's pretty solid. Without Wiggins, the Warriors might not have even got to 70 points tonight. But this is very, very, very perplexing to me to see Steph Curry kind of be, I'm not going to put the whole loss at Steph's feet, but to have Steph be this passive in a loss like this for the Warriors is concerning. And I hope that it's not the knee injury. I really hope this is just Steph being frustrated and kind of just letting the frustration play out. And I think that that's very unlikely that that's what it was. I think it's much more likely that this knee thing is really bothering him and that the Memphis defense was just suffocating in the first half. And then obviously with the game script, he didn't play much in the second half. That's the more likely situation, which is much more concerning to me because without Steph being able to do Steph things, this Warriors team might not even make the play-in. I think in Warriors land, we're kind of wrapped up in the idea of, is this team a play-in team or a playoff team? But if Steph continues to play like this is not a playoff team or a play-in team. This is a go to Cancun team at the end of the regular season. So, this is I mean, I think that this is a problem. I think that it's time to push that panic button if you are the Warriors, because you see the direction this team is going. They are backsliding. It looks like a night and day difference from who they were at the beginning of the season and the identity that they built around themselves as a defensive stopper. You just gave up back-to-back games of, I mean, so many three-pointers in these last two games. Just an absurd, 50 three-pointers in the last two games? The Warriors have given up something like that. My God, 144 points to the Memphis Grizzlies in regulation, and you don't even score 100. That is just absolutely pathetic. And I'm going to say one more thing about this Steph maybe being, letting the frustration get to him and just saying, you figure it out tonight to everybody else. I saw this from the entire Warriors team in their last game. I think it was their last game. Brandon Bajemski had a possession where he kind of got stuck in no man's land. He got the swing pass. He was open for a mid-range shot, didn't take it, and didn't really make a move to the rim, kind of waited for the defense to react to him. Defense came out. Pods tried to do like a little step back move into the corner, pump fake. Defense didn't bite. And he ended up getting himself just in such a bad situation, picking up the dribble in the corner and just holding the ball with the defense all around him. And nobody came to help him. Absolutely nobody came to help him. It looked like the Warriors were kind of just saying, you got yourself into this, dude. You figure it out. You get yourself out. And so this team right now just feels disjointed. I mean, totally disjointed on offense, on defense. We can get into that a little bit later on in the show. The defense was horrendous tonight. And that's a huge problem, because that is what this identity was of this Warriors team not too long ago. So let's get into that next on the Locked On Warriors postcast. The identity of the Warriors, what is it? We thought we knew what it was. I don't know anymore. That's what's coming up next. What is this Warriors team's identity? Later on in the show, what the hell is Mike Dunleavy doing? Make a trade. Do something. We're going to get into all that next, later on, here on the Locked On Warriors postcast. Today's show is sponsored by BILT Rewards. If you're a renter, listen up. This is a total game changer. Thanks to BILT, you can now earn points on rent payments just like you do with groceries or travel. Paying rent now comes with serious perks, and it's completely free to join. Earn valuable BILT points on your rent everyday spending at no extra cost. Redeem points towards flights, hotel stays, and even future rent payments. With over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels in their program, the possibilities are endless. Access unique experiences that are exclusive to BILT members. I love using points for travel, and BILT makes it so easy to turn rent into rewards. If you're already paying rent, why not make it work for you? Start earning points on rent you're already paying by going to joinbuilt.com/lockedonnba. That's joinbuilt.com/lockedonnba. Make sure you use our link so they know we sent you. Don't wait. Start earning rewards today. Today's show is also sponsored by Game Time. I love live events, from concerts to sporting events and everything in between, and I rely on Game Time to get my tickets. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste your time searching through thousands of tickets. I also love the all-in pricing feature. Toggling this feature on shows the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. Game Time also gives customers the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. And with Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Receipt of copy does not constitute an order. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Welcome back to the Locked On Warriors postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and just taking a look at the chat, man. We got Golden Child 2024 saying trade Steph Curry and blow the team up. Man, I am not at that point yet, but wow, I don't think I have heard that statement on a postcast that we've done yet. I mean, the distaste is palpable. I can feel it. I think everybody in the Warriors fan base can feel it. Nobody seems to know what this team is right now. And I mean, I'm going to say it flat out. I think this was the worst game of Steph Curry's career tonight. And you see what the team around him can do when Steph isn't himself. When he puts out his worst game of the night, You don't just lose by 10. You don't just lose by 20. You don't even lose by 30 or 40. You lose 144-93. You lose by 50 points. I almost threw another F word for the alliteration in there, but my God, I can't, just abysmal. And it's not just Steph's fault in this loss, though. It's not just a Steph Curry issue. You can't put that much pressure on one player to constantly just carry a team. It was the whole thing. It was the offense, and we spent so much time talking about how terrible the offense was tonight. We got to talk about that defense because it was not much better. And part of this also is Draymond Green not on the court for a lot of this game due to foul trouble. And I mean, dumb fouls tonight for Draymond. He's going chest to chest with Zach Edey after, exchanging little rubs down the court. He needs to realize that he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt, especially in Memphis. Are you kidding me? Of all places for Draymond Green to be begging for a foul call when there's two guys jawing at each other and pushing and shoving, you're going to ask for that in Memphis. Of all places, with the history and the whoop that trick and all that. Come on, dude. Be realistic for 5 seconds. Realize who you are. And being Draymond Green comes with a lot of perks, but it's got some baggage too. And this is some of that baggage. You are not going to get those calls. You need to be smarter in those situations. You got 3 fouls and you're running down the floor chirping and body bumping a dude. What are you doing? I mean, just play basketball. Go run down the court, get in defensive position, and kick that dude's A in the post on defense. I cannot believe that this team is doing the same stuff, the same exact things that they have done these last couple of years that have gotten them absolutely nowhere. It's the one oddball year, the 2021-2022 NBA championship. They didn't do much of this dumb stuff. Draymond Green was able to keep himself composed more often than not. And Steph was able to, actually do something out there on the offensive end of the floor. And they had other options. Shout out Jordan Poole. Don't you kind of miss having an option like that right now? I mean, the last time the Warriors were good, that's what they had. I'm not saying they need to go get Jordan Poole. Calm down, because we don't want to redo that. But they need a guy like that. Absolutely need a guy like that, so that when Steph has a game like this, when Draymond has a game like this, you still can look like an NBA team. There has to be some level of professionalism, of heart, of pride that you go out there and play with. And to be honest, the only guy that I saw play with any sense of pride tonight was Brandon Podziemski, which blew my mind that that's the guy that I am saying that about. But I mean, for that to be the one guy who looked like he had any reason to play for anything tonight. Brandon Podziemski looking like he's fighting for his life, for his minutes on this team right now in that fourth quarter. But I mean, everybody else on this team just looked like they could give a you-know-what. I mean, Buddy Hield, just one of the worst turnovers I've ever seen, one of the laziest rebound dribble, doesn't bother to pick up his dribble, and John Morant just steals it and just flushes it immediately. Just so many plays tonight where, John Morant too was at the center of so many huge momentum plays. That block on Draymond Green, that crazy layup where it just hit so high off the glass. I don't know how that went in. It just over and over and over. This Memphis team, just everybody on this Grizzlies team just destroyed the Warriors. Everybody on their bench went off. They had 1, 2, 3 different guys with 15 plus points, and everybody on their bench scored 5 or more. And that sounds to me like what we used to see from the Warriors this season. I mean, the Warriors earlier on, their identity was this defense. And without it, it's got me wondering, what the hell is this team? How do they win games? I mean, with this, what they currently got constructed, you need something. You need to go make a trade. First and foremost, that is the number one top priority that this team needs to do. Shake up this roster. And whether you got to get rid of Wiggins or Kuminga or Brandon Podziemski, I really don't care. You go get somebody else to put in the starting lineup with Steph Curry, with Draymond Green, who's going to be playing 30 to 35 minutes a night and is going to get you 20 points a night-ish and can play some defense, hopefully. And there's a couple guys out there who fit that bill, and the Warriors need to go be aggressive and do that, because right now you have zero identity. You cannot lean on this defense right now. It is absolutely broken. And I'm not giving up on the Warriors defense this year, because they have Jerry Stackhouse, and I do trust him as a head coach to fix what the Warriors are doing right now, but the rotations, ultra lazy. I mean, you're having double teams where the rest of the defense is just standing around watching while two dudes are playing defense on one guy and like three dudes move without the ball. And the Grizzlies just seem to have any number of open shooters standing around the perimeter tonight. This team is so disjointed, so discombobulated. I thought having, several days off since their last game that they would fix some of this stuff on defense, and it looked worse than ever tonight. This was hands down the worst game that the Warriors played on offense or defense tonight, I think. I mean, 15 points in the first quarter. You lose that first quarter 15-37, and it got worse somehow after that. Just completely insane. I mean, this is one of those games where people say burn the tape. I don't think so. I think you force this team to sit there and watch this whole damn thing back and make them mad. Make them feel like make them come face to face with the fact that none of these guys tried on offense or defense, except for maybe Andrew Wiggins and Brandon Podziemski just in the fourth quarter. You got to hold these guys accountable. Everybody on this Warriors team should get an F in Jerry Stackhouse's defensive grades for this game. If there's a grade lower than F, give them that. Give them a Z. I don't know what the hell to give them. But I have no idea what the identity of this team is anymore. And that means you don't have one. If we're, what are we, 26 games into the season? You got to start figuring out who you are. We're getting, deep into the NBA season. Most good teams know what makes them good at this point. The Warriors seem to have no idea, which means you got to go make a trade. We talk about this so often, but my God, has it never been more evident than it was tonight? Why is Mike Dunleavy waiting? What else do you need to see? You want to see how the team looks with Dennis Schroder? Well, you saw. It's been one game, but this is a pretty damn strong, outcome. Let's get into that. Mike Dunleavy, please, for the love of God, do something. That's what's next on the Locked On Warriors postcast. Get ready to tackle the NFL action this season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest live stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. And, I had the number in my head earlier about what the point spread was tonight, but after getting clubbed by 50 plus, somehow it just left my brain. I have no idea what the spread was anymore tonight, but it doesn't matter because the Warriors were not anywhere close to covering it. My God, they got to figure out something. But on FanDuel, you can figure something out for yourself because you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Welcome back to the Locked On Warriors postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and tonight the Warriors played their worst game of the season. Steph Curry, in my opinion, played the worst game of his career. The worst game we've seen Steph play. He seemed lackadaisical. He seemed like he didn't really care. Like he didn't really give a you-know-what. Like he just kind of threw his hands up and said, I'm not going to – if I need to score 50 tonight, we're not winning this game. And again, the concerns about the knee lingering. The concerns about the age lingering. All these things, the defense, a major concern as of late, all these things point to the fact that the Warriors just need more talent. This team right now just kind of sucks, and there's no two ways about it. This team can't play defense, and this team can't play offense right now. In the beginning of the season, this was much different. This team looked like it was stuck like glue together. The defense was cohesive. The offense was flowing like water. None of those things are happening anymore. So what do the Warriors do? Mike Dunleavy needs to get off his you-know-what and go get either Jimmy Butler or Cam Thomas. And it is one of those two guys, or Cam Johnson, excuse me. You need to go get Cam Johnson or right now, because Cam Johnson for the Brooklyn Nets is an insane shooter that can help keep you in games. He's not going to give you as much on defense as a Jimmy Butler. You know what I mean? Jimmy Butler, it would just be amazing to see playoff Jimmy and Draymond Green and Steph Curry playing games in the postseason if you can get there. they did get Jimmy Butler, I do think that you end up getting to the postseason. You're going to have to give up something for either one of these guys. No one's just giving these dudes away. And I do think it's a little less likely now that the Warriors go get Cam Johnson after trading for Dennis Schroder, because my mind tells me if you were going to go get Cam Johnson, you do that in the same trade. You package some guys together and you make it happen. And lo and behold, that didn't happen. They go get Dennis Schroder, the wrong guy from the Brooklyn Nets, in my opinion. Not that they didn't need Schroder. I do think Schroder will be a viable piece on this team, another ball handler, which they desperately need. But that's not enough. You need something other than just Dennis the Menace. And Cam Johnson could be that guy. I think that offensively, this dude could just keep you in so many games, and the spacing that he will create on the floor with him and Steph would be so fun to watch. You would recreate some of that Splash Brothers magic again. And I think that could really work for this Warriors team. But I think more and more as we're going forward, Jimmy Butler's got to be the target. And there's got to be only two untouchable players on this team. That's Draymond Green and Steph Curry. Everybody else should be available to be traded to go get Jimmy Butler. Maybe it's been a little while for some Warriors fans, but we were obsessed with the two timeline thing once before. Remember James Wiseman? I know a lot of us like to forget, but how did that work out? You're doomed to repeat the past if you don't study the history. You got to study the history and not do the same thing. And this isn't far away history. This is pretty recent history. James Wiseman was not so long ago. But again, people want to hold on to Kuminga because of the two timeline thing. There is one timeline with the Golden State Warriors, and it is Steph Curry's clock on his career. He's 36 years old. How much more time does he got? He's starting to turn in games like this. How many more seasons can Steph be the centerpiece of your team? This might be it. This literally might be the last chance for the Warriors to ride into the postseason with Steph as the main catalyst at the center of it all. You owe it to him and to every single person in this fan base to go chase a championship while it is out there. And the best way for the Warriors to do that is to go add talent to this talent deficient roster. It's essential. You cannot expect to, look at what they've done. The only reason the Warriors are over 500 right now is because at the beginning of the season, they got a lot of favorable matchups. They played bad teams, and when they played good teams, they were missing stars. Almost every single team that the Warriors, remember when they beat the Celtics without Jaylen Brown? Remember when they, it was like every single team that they beat, the Thunder earlier this year, they played them really, really well. No Chet Holmgren. You want to put some stock in these wins, but when you look at it, they beat up on the Pelicans. The Pelicans, they didn't have anybody, it seemed like. No DeJounte Murray, no Zion for some of those matchups. And when you start to think about it like that, and then the Warriors started to play, they played Memphis really well earlier this year when Memphis was a little dinged up. And now you see what happens when they play a fully healthy Memphis squad, when you're not fully healthy. And wow, does that look pretty stark difference right there? The Warriors earlier this season seemed like they were world beaters. They were defensively top 5, offensively top 5. But then they started playing real competition against real teams that were fully healthy. And since then, the Warriors are terrible. They're 7-7 away from Chase Center right now, 14-12 on the season. They are slipping back to 500. They started the season, or they started the day, in 8th place in the Western Conference. You got to figure something out. You're sliding back into play-in territory. This Western Conference is going to be very, very, very competitive and close at the end of the season, to the point where we might look back on this point in time and wish Mike Dunleavy had made a trade a little bit sooner to get them a few more wins. Just 1 or 2 more wins might be the difference between the Warriors missing the playoffs, being in the play-in, or being in the playoffs altogether. Like, it might be a difference of like 3 or 4 wins with as good as this Western Conference is. So you need to make this trade right now, which is why you got to push the panic button right now, because you can't let this continue. You absolutely cannot. I know it's December, but my God, this is so glaringly obvious to me that this roster does not have what it takes to get to the promised land. It absolutely does not. You've got to shake it up. You have to do something. I'm not saying he's asleep at the wheel. Dunleavy just made a trade to go and get Dennis Schroder, addressed an obvious need for another ball handler on this team. But again, not enough. Go get more. Go get Cam Johnson. Go get Jimmy Butler. That's all the time that we got for you guys today. I mean, if you made it all the way through this Locked On Warriors postcast after making it all the way through this 144-93 waxing at the hands of the Memphis Grizzlies, I applaud you. I applaud you because, man, oh man, I am frustrated. I am sweaty from yelling for the last 30 minutes about how bad this team is. I got to go take a shower or something, man. I got to get out of here. That's all the time we got for you today on the Locked On Warriors postcast. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. I am a frustrated Eric Triple E Engel tonight. And I really hope that the Warriors play a much better game when doesn't get easier. When they play the Timberwolves next on December 21st, that is a 5 p.m. start. Oh, man, I really hope the Warriors at least keep it within 10. Can we at least try to keep it within 10 next time? That would be phenomenal. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll see you next time. Peace.